Welcome to the Full Tracy Money Audio Commentary. This is Owen Tracy recording, and it is 3:35 p.m. that is Central Time, and today is July 9th. Well, I thought that today one of the more important things that was happening is that President Trump announced a bunch of new tariffs, and those were on 7 specific countries, none of which is a big trading partner of the USA, so it really doesn't matter how big those tariffs are, it's not going to have a great effect. And the market response was muted. And there's obviously a good reason for that, because it didn't really apply to the vast majority of companies or countries. There's the possibility that the tariffs that will be imposed on the EU will be limited to 10%, and that would be seen as a win by the Europeans. And then when we think about what that meant for markets, well, the majority of stock market indices were in positive territory, but not Brazil. Brazil's was down nearly 2%, and that is pulling back from the region of the all-time peak. It's looking potentially like a failed upside break. Well, Brazil was not among the 7 that had tariffs announced against them, but it was singled out in the statement as being a country that hasn't been particularly friendly to the USA. And of course, that is also very much a commentary on Lula da Silva's administration, because he's been cozying up with China, and he's been quite vocal about countries banding together to try and uh, target the USA for its tariff regime. And of course, that is something that's putting downward pressure on the stock market, as well as putting downward pressure on the currency. But the currency was not weaker in a very substantial manner. Then today we also had a successful auction of treasuries, and the 10-year yield was down 6 basis points. That's certainly to be welcomed. But then what we've also started to see here is that the dollar, having rebounded over the last couple of days, it was pretty much unchanged in here today. Gold was up about $10, so it's still holding the lower side of its range. Bitcoin was up $2,200 and closing above the 110,000 level in here today. So that's a rather substantial move, and we're right at the upper side of the range. Then Ethereum was stronger today by $140, so that's firming within its range, and some of the other larger altcoins were also in positive territory. So